molweni emakhaya kwindawo zonke nje enibukeleni kuzo. Igama lami ke ndingumbulelo Dyasi, unational organizer wama forums eSouth Africa. Sikwiphulo ke lokujikeleza iprovinces namhlanje besilapha ke eGauteng apho besihlanganise khona all men's forums of this province in partnership with social development. Make singene ngaphakathi ke sibone ke amadoda ba axoxa athini kodwa izikhona izinto ezivelayo emadodeni izinto ezibakhathazayo nezinto abacabanga ukuthi bangacontributor ngazo ukustopha ke violence against women and children in our communities. Make singene ngaphakathi.
This conference is two-pronged. One, it is for us as Men's Forum of Gauteng to develop a strategy approach on how to best respond to gender-based violence, because we can't live in a country, in a province where it's almost becoming normal for women and children to be killed and to be violated by us, people called men. So that's one part of the conference. What are we saying as Men's Forum? Are we effective now? Are we talking to the National Strategic Plan or NSP? Then secondly, I think it is what the facilitator was referring to. We need to discuss how best do we plug the work we do to the national picture by forming the South African National Men's Forum. So today we need to achieve these two objectives. How do we respond to gender-based violence, and how do we become part of the greater whole of South Africa? So my presentation will look into the NSP objectives or the policy objectives. Then we will do South African men in context. Then we will do, I'm going to jump the GBV statistics because subs will talk to that. Then we're going to reflect on what are the causes of GBVF in South Africa and in Gauteng. Then we will table our response to that effect. Then the objectives of this presentation is to provide a conference with a synopsis of South African response to gender-based violence.
Sibene lucky namhlanje ukuthi sithole outcome lana uMayor weCity of Johannesburg. Ya ngithi outcome ngoba wasekasi sihlale kasi sonke sibene lucky ukuthi simthole namhlanje ukuthi sizokhulumisana ngale ndaba yamajita. Yabona le struggle samajita lesi se behavioral change yise sokhuluma ngaso kakhulu namhlanje, but akahambi yedwa kuMayor uhamba no Dr. Matume Khanagha ngapha no Brian, but ngicela uqala kuwe Dr. Khanagha njengoba kuhlanganele gathering sikuzwile ukhuluma lapha yana yini mhlambe ocabanga ukuthi irole enodlalwa uMayor nama principals in coordinating amajita?
No, thanks.
Ngicela uzintroduce nje lapha emakhaya.
Kina Matume Khanagha, the Deputy Chairperson of the Sanak Men's Sector. Fortunately, when we called the current president in 2015, we were worried about that question. But to coordinate men is not an easy task because by our very nature, we tend to take the issue of leadership quite serious in our own spaces. So in answering that question, we identified Parliament as a space that should coordinate us because we didn't want to spend too much time fighting amongst ourselves to say who is the apex body. We identified that office, and in terms of the leadership, we said the principals at all spheres must lead this, given the scale of the crisis of masculinity that we all are common with in terms of rates of violence, poor health outcomes, and just socio-economic development. So when we went to Parliament in 2018, they embraced us, and together with the presidency, and we took a resolution to take this program to the ground level. But to get there, it was about steps, ensuring that we start in provinces, so with the legislatures and the premiers, and of course local municipalities with the speakers and councillors, and at the lowest level being the municipal ward councillors, in terms of the leadership.
Yeah.
So at the district level, we look at ensuring that we have men's parliaments that convene twice a year,
Okay.
specifically in April and October. All the 52 districts in South Africa convening men so that we can account to the work that we've done, but also put plans in place in our response to issues that are affecting communities.
Yeah. We'll come back, Dr. Khanaka. Comrade Mayor, njengoba ubu address amajita la, you mentioned something very important, behavior yethu. As a first citizen yala city of Johannesburg, ama-forum lahleli la, asuka kundawo ngendawo, almost yonke iSoweto, including i-province bala. As politicians, yini mhlambe le enibona ukuthi yazini all is well, these men can mobilize themselves, but yini ekuhluphayo ngathi ocabanga ukuthi you need to fix if, for instance, you are about to convene a seat of Joburg in that beautiful chamber, yini mhlambe le ocabanga ukuthi iyakuhlupha about us as amajita? Ngicela ubingelele abantu lapha emakhaya.
Thank you so much, facilitator. And I would like to greet each and everyone at home. Most importantly, coming from ISONA, the State of the Nation address. We know Guti, the president has launched, he said he'll create a portfolio, a minister of electricity. So, Tina, in local government, I think it is imperative for us to create a portfolio. Will be MMCs. Yeah, an MMC of Men Conference.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So what is critically important for us as government is we need to create an agile space, right? Create opportunities, create corridors of the economy, because fundamentally we are the majority, as abantu besilisa, and we are the majority as well as the ethnicity. In terms of ethnicity, we are the vast majority. How do we ensure Uguti as government, in as much as we do not create employment? Because maybe poverty could be the main key that is contributing factor to the issues of HPV. They have a lot of stress. Because there's pressure also. The nutritions are very important. You shouldn't go to school without having a breakfast. So how do we create an agile space where we can partner with stakeholders in the society, particularly those which are in the sector of a business, and create imisedence? You know, we need to call. A city has a land that is not being used. We are one. Instead of us say mushroom informal settlement, why don't we invite investors, developers to say come and develop, so that we can turn the entire city into a construction site. And in so doing, there would be opportunities of employment in as much as it is sustainable for a short period of time, because it is contracted or it is a construction site. But at least you are able to put or to minimize the pressure at home. Yeah, Mara, it is our responsibility also not to hide behind the thumb. No, lo mama lo nongifakile pressure because angisebenzi uyangidelela. You understand? It is upon us first to deal with issues internally. Issues of anger internally, issues of depression internally, so that when we interact with our female counterpart, it is easier and it is easily manageable.
Meya kunamajita la athi acela sithole nje ikhofi kancane siphinde sibuye, stay tuned. Ake masibuye breakini bengishilo ngathi sizoke sibheke uDr. Khanaka ukuthi yena ngesikhathi beaddressa amadoda la kule conference ebethini make size uDr. Khanaka ekhuluma namajita.
Just to put it into perspective, I think Rutu Lady States Minister of Police last week, we're literally, I think we're second highest Kafka homicide. The rate, the highest Jamaica. We're 33 per 100,000 people die from homicide, being killed. And of course, we know that we are the killers. That's why we are 97% in presence in South Africa. To link it to why I hate Begitele, and I think he mentioned it, it doesn't matter. Even if David did his job 100%, perfect, backed by Zondo, Judge Zondo, the prisons are already 40% full. So even if today, all the criminals volunteered, I don't know what level of spirituality will cause that, but volunteered to say, you know what, arrest us, we are guilty and confessed, we would not know where to put them. Because as we speak today, there's about towards 200,000 prisoners, and those 160, 170, they are full already. Gosan City, 40% full. So if you look at our stats, about 84 people are killed every day. And as I said, it's not just about crime, Ngoman. You look at South Africa as a country, you give us anything, we are going to show you that we have a crisis of masculinity. We know many of us lost our relatives to motor vehicle accidents. Easter is coming very soon. We're all going to be counting. I'm not sure if it's done in other countries where Easter, it's about ZCC and how many people are dying on the road. Those are the two topics. Maybe Easter, I even forget sometimes about Jesus. Easter is just a focus around road carnage. You spoke about substance, alcohol. You give us alcohol, we outdrink. You give us sex, we'll have more STIs than anyone. HIV, we are 8.2 million people infected. The next country is Nigeria, with around 2 million. And they've got a population of more than 200 million, including India with 1.4 billion people. They've got 2 million. Right now we are 4 times that number. It just shows you our crisis as men. And you can list anything. I can bet you give us anything in South Africa. We'll show you how we can turn it into a monster. Even football will turn it into a monster. We're not qualifying for anything. So our crisis of masculinity is something that requires this structure as a non-negotiable. And I don't want to create a competition, but I will argue, every one of you sitting in this room, and this is not a competition because you can't compare battles. You are fighting a bigger battle than all your liberation heroes. Because you see, with the liberation, it was an easy battle. And easy, I'm putting inverted commas. But you were fighting a system that was in government, was documented. So you could establish soldiers, you could establish, street committees, you could establish UDF, you could do all these things to approach it. With this one, to go back to my earlier point, you're fighting yourself. So when I started by saying I hate you, stab someone, this one you're fighting yourself. It's the battle of all battles. Because as South African men, we are here responding to ourselves, not Foster. So we can't march, we can't go to Union Building. And it's a very difficult battle because that person in the mirror is the one you must defeat.
Nimzwile uDr. Khanagha elibeka udaba lwakhe le-National Men's Parliament ukuthi ama-Men's Parliament azohlangana kanjani nama-street champions at local level ngoba into ebalulekile ukuthi each and every street e-South Africa ama-street ethu abe-secured. Make sizwe umeya yena ukuthi uthini kwi-speech sakhe.
You understand already even the social construct that we grew up in advocates certain social illnesses. How we grew up knowing you must smell like a man. You know what we see. There's a specific way that the man has to smell like. So these are the issues that one of the ordinary deeds. But you know, So much so when the intruder comes to your house, the first thing that they need to identify is not to assess the threat, whether you are there or not. They must get a smell first. There's a man here, so this is danger. So I'll read the points just in summary, because I need to rush through my other engagements. So the first point that I'm picking up from the speech, it's the legacy of our history, which is the spatial injustice, how the city was designed. So now where we come from, we have, I think maybe 99.9% houses, they have a microwave, right? When you get home at night, at 10 o'clock, but you just have a microwave, you must warm up your food. So without even interrogating, well, how was your day? You coming from work? What delayed you? You understand? I'm talking about families which are disenfranchised by the very same legacy of our history. To date, they still filter and they are still affecting us. These are the issues that they are affect. These are minute things, small things that we as a society need to poke holes and see what could be the problem. Because if you go to other societies, you'd find there's a day, if not the entire week, 24/7. But they will set aside a day where the family sits in one table. And when they sit in that table, when you are not doing well at school, the father or whoever in the family is able to pick my son Hasha, from the non-verbal communication. But the moment you're saying there's a microwave, the meal is there. Sunday to Sunday, you'll be getting your food from the microwave without me sitting with my parents, without me sitting with the father figure that has to be a role model to me, and understanding my challenges, and understanding what affects me as a man or what affects me as a girl child in that particular society. Well, because we can't talk about men in the absence of our female counterpart, because one fundamental issue that the men would argue is that no, but one child, she's disrespectful, without interrogating her, okay, why is she disrespectful?
Simzwile ke umeya we city of Johannesburg elibeka udaba lwakhe make sihambe ke siye ebreakini sibone ukuthi ibreak isiphatheleni. Sisese Ebuhlanti ke igama lami ndingumbulo Jasi. Brian, I just want you in few minutes to influence umeya ukuthi what are the issues eziraiswa ngamajita from time to time when we meet.
Thank you so much. It's Brian from One Strong Voice Foundation, together working with the Men's Forum, the provincial forum. Mayor, thank you for your time, Mphathi, for you being part of this forum, for you to come and take your time to address us as the members of the community. The other day, Prof, I once said the issue of GBVF, it needs to be dealt with at a ward level. So we are having the head of the ward here in the city of Johannesburg. So, Mayor, I would like to ask you, on behalf of the community at large, to say, influence the leaders of the wards in the fight against GBV. Let it not be they are fighting for the issue of electricity, the issue of water and potholes, but let the councillors speak.
Okay, Comrade Mayor, kune Men's Parliament program ekufaneka si organize, and tina ungakhathazeki ngama resources will assist you ngama resources ukuthi mhlambe ukubiza amadoda yourself lapha kwi city of Joburg no speaker mhlambe yeyiphi message ongayinika amajita aphelelwe ithemba as a result njengoba bephelelwe ithemba nje baphela baba involved kwi crime, some are stealing cables the electricity in communities but aporekile amajita. Ithini message mhlambe ongayinika ama out?
Message engaka amajita ukuthi with the leap of faith you can move mountains. So we need to have faith which we can transform first our lives. Secondly, you know, when you are boarding in a plane and you're traveling to wherever you are going to, the first thing that they teach you in that cabin is that there would be a time where you would need, in a case of emergency, when the oxygen drops, the first person that you need to rescue is yourself. You fire an oxygen mask on yourself first before you can deal with the next person. So is the issues as a GBV. First, we need to deal with ourselves, and then let us interrogate ourselves as men. What is the problem? If we need counseling, we shouldn't shy away from counseling. As men, we also need to embark on that journey. Sometimes I know women will also say, I think we need counseling now because we are in a toxic relationship, you know. And the men will say, no, you understand. And there is an integisa because we need to build a society, and a society is highly dependent on us as men. Maybe I could be politically incorrect because of patriarchy, but I'm talking about a system that I grew up in. We understand predominantly men would be the last bag, we understand, but we do not encourage such. We always encourage there has to be proper consultation between two partners. You know, there has to be dialogue between two partners. If you do not understand each other, even if take a walk, obuye later and say, because that I can tell you what they excel. If they don't get proper answers, by 2 weeks or hey, can I get into it? You understand? Yeah. So now we also need to adopt same mechanisms, but not in a way that is oppressive. You know, you take a walk, and you say, no, okay, because we couldn't find each other earlier, let us sit down, let us talk. I think manje, both of us are dying, and then and also avoid whenever one of you raises the voice, and then you also want to raise the voice. So try by all means, okay, it's fine, raise your voice, but I'll be the one who will be, yeah. It takes a man to do that. Yeah, it doesn't take a man to assault a woman.
Mayor, we will be coming to your office. We are institutionalizing this process. Fortunately, to take from my colleague, we took a resolution at the National Parliament this November that this is the term of the ward men's parliaments. So to also work with the councillors, because our intention in the wards is to be convened by the councillors every month as Amadota, so that we present our response to the issues affecting communities. And then once we have engaged in April and October, we meet convened by the Speaker, led by yourself, Mayor, so that we report firstly on the work that we've done over the period, but more importantly to present our next 6 months plan towards October, so that by the time we leave that sitting in April, everybody knows in all the 7 regions of the city what our task is. And then month on month we'll be meeting the wards to track the implementation towards safer, cleaner, happier communities led by the city.
Hayi babukele emakhaya bekumnandi ukuthi sibe no mayor namhlanje nama colleagues am, and siyathemba ukuthi mhlambe masiphinde sihlangane again mayor kuzoba mnandi kakhulu, amajita azofika, sizomobilize thina ungakhathazeki, nama producer will assist us in terms of mobilizing amajita nje kwi-city of Johannesburg. Igama lami ke ndingumbulelo Jasi, mangithi nje lapha emakhaya ncinzelili
Kitlimo because of Kilimonna ele conference ya banna. What I've learned today is that men need such platforms where we engage in men issues. We have a lot of problems that surround us and we have nobody to talk to. But if we come to these platforms, that's where we can discuss issues that are affecting us as men.
I had a great experience in this conference. I've learned a lot about the social ills in our communities and South Africa at large.
Into engiyifundile namhlanje i1 nje engithintile ukuthi uma uyindoda ungakhaleli ngaphakathi, if khona into engakuphathanga kahle, if ufila ukuthi ukhale ngoba leyo nto le yenza ukuthi uhlale uyindoda angry. Enenye into ukuthi amadoda engathi ngazama ukuthi athole umsebenzi ngoba the hungry man bathi ihlale angry. bafowethu esicela nje kukodwa sibaphathe kahle omama siphathe kahle ingane.
It was a very great privilege for us to be part of this conference because what we've learned, we've seen that they want to implement projects and programs at ward level, which is something which is going to be effective and efficient for us to, as men, to be able to address our problem at that level.